Growing up, my mom was a very emotional female, and I saw a lot of reactions rather than responses. So I learned how to react to situations. Hey y'all, it's your girl Ken, and welcome back to the channel. I am a little heavy-hearted today. I have people right now in my life that are going through some really tough times in their marriage. Last night, I was sitting with a friend who was walking through something that honestly breaks your heart, ladies. I mean, her marriage is just in a really tough place. The kind of place where you don't even know what to say in the moment. You just know that you need to be present. And as I was sitting there, I was having inner dialogue with myself and just praying that God gives her peace and asking for wisdom. I feel so emotionally involved because she's hurting. And I just realized that real life teaches us things. And I'm basically going to say all the things that I wish that I could have said last night that came to my mind after I did some self-reflection and prayer over their marriage and also mine. Let's go ahead and get started. So I want to start off today by talking about something that my therapist brought up to my husband and I, and he described something to me that I've seen in every marriage, mine included. That's what he called the carousel. And almost every couple, I would say 99.9% of every couple ends up on this carousel at some point in their marriage. The carousel usually begins the moment something happens in the marriage that we don't like or we don't understand. And instead of responding with clarity, with compassion, or boundary setting, we typically go to our immediate first response, which is usually a reaction. And our reaction then becomes the trigger point that causes our spouse to react in return. And sometimes they match our energy. And sometimes they turn the volume up all the way on us, okay? And either way, the pattern continues round and round and round you go on the carousel. And as this cycle repeats, something heartbreaking is happening between you and your partner. Slow chunks of the marriage begin to disappear. And it's not that you don't love each other, but the access you once had to each other's tenderness disappears. Acts of service start to fade. They no longer take out the trash, no longer help you in the kitchen. They no longer feel the need to show empathy towards you. You know, if you had a long day, they're not going to run you a bath. Cuddles fade. Intimacy fades, admiration fades, affection fades, respect fades. And all that remains visible, ladies, are the amplified parts that hurt. What I mean by that is the annoying, the frustrating, or the disappointments. That's what you see. It's amplified. And it starts to look like you don't even care about each other anymore. You don't even like each other anymore. But that's actually not the truth. The person you fell in love with is still there. I guarantee you, usually 95% of the time, the person you married is still there. They're just hidden behind the layers of reactivity and self-reflection. But there is some good news to this whole carousel thing. You can get off the carousel. It's not easy, but it's definitely possible. The earliest you can catch this, the quicker the restoration begins, and you can see with so much more clarity. I want to provide some biblical grounding scriptures that point to how we can stop the cycle, how we can get off the carousel. These verses are beautifully framed for the wisdom that we need. I don't know if you guys remember, but on one of my videos a while back, I said the Bible has answers for everything. And when I say everything, I mean everything. It has answers for your anxiety, your depression, your suicidal thoughts, your marriage. So let's see what it has to say. First, Ephesians 4, 2 through 3. It gives us the exact posture that we need to step off the carousel. And it says, I'll read in your hearing, be completely humble and gentle. Be patient, bearing with one another in love. Make every effort, not some effort, not sometimes, saying be consistent to keep the unity of the spirit through the bond of peace, not through the bond of strife, through the bond of peace. Humility slows down that carousel, y'all, so it makes it a little bit easier for someone to get off. Gentleness softens the atmosphere. Patience helps us not to expect instant results. And I hear this a lot, even with me. We are not giving our partners grace to even change. Our partners are usually, 25 and up? They're typically who they are at that point. They're who they are as a person, as a man, as a woman. And we don't even give them grace to change, patience to change. So this says that patience helps us not to expect instant results. Give him time. And choosing peace gives us the courage to get off the carousel first. I know on my marriage, y'all, I was not wanting to get off the carousel. Oh, you want to make a smart remark? Okay, I got one for you too. But you know what? Mine's is going to cut a little bit deeper than yours. So be ready so you know not to try me. But that doesn't do anything. It just makes him go in the living room or go in a different room and be on his game. And then we have no intimacy moments together at night. So this verse is literally the blueprint for interrupting the pattern, okay? Another verse that I chose that I really like, James 1, verse 19. And it says, be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. Wow, why would the Bible say be slow to speak and slow to become angry? Have you noticed that the more you speak, the more angry you become? The more you wallow in your thoughts, the more you have to say? Have you noticed that when you genuinely listen, you have less to say because your brain has to process what the other person is saying? This verse is the exit door, my good sis. It is the exit door to the carousel. When the marriage starts spinning, okay, you start seeing the carousel picking up speed, it's usually because we're doing one of the following. We're reacting, we're being defensive, we're assuming, we're always quick to respond, but we're very slow to listen. And James here in this verse, he's flipping the natural order of this. He's like, let's invertly handle this situation. Let's actually be quick to listen. Listening interrupts the emotional momentum. We're not bickering back and forth. I'm actually just like, hey, I'm all ears. Listening is just like the first break. It's the first stop sign, yield sign. Like, just listen, and you apply this when you choose to step off the carousel. This verse is a really good tool, y'all. Every time you feel yourself about to react, because we feel that before we do it, say in your mind, quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to anger. It literally will reset your nervous system, girl. It will reset it. I promise. Now I'm going to go ahead and give you guys some ways to get off the carousel. We're going to drop some wisdom on this, some practical tips. You got to recognize when the carousel is spinning, girl. You have to have some type of awareness. You have to have some type of discernment. You have to be connected to God just to be able to know that it's starting to spin. And when you first feel that moment, you're offended, you're ignored, you feel disrespected, misunderstood, triggers, you're triggered right now. Say to yourself, this is the start of the carousel. And just naming it, like, I feel like just calling it out, it loses its power. It's like the devil in your camp and you're like, in the name of Jesus, I'm rebuking that energy. It just reduces the power. You know it's the devil trying to stir things up. And you said, get thee behind me. Same thing here. I say this in a lot of my videos, pause before reacting. It seems so small, but I don't think we understand how much power pausing can do. Your first reaction is rarely your wisest reaction. If you just try to take three breaths, my good sis, deep breaths, just going into another room, It gives your brain a moment to just be like, okay, this may not be as big as what I thought it was. I may have been assuming, I may have been overreaching. It's not what it looks like. I don't need to do all that. And you don't have to respond that way. It just gives your brain a second to calculate what just happened. A lot of people take that for weakness. Oh, he ain't gonna run me. I ain't no PUSSY. He ain't gonna run me like that. But really what that is, that's just straight self-governance. That's just straight wisdom. That's just straight Proverbs 31 energy. And number 3 is choose response over reaction. A response is intentional, a reaction is emotional. Growing up, my mom was a very emotional female, and I saw a lot of reactions rather than responses. So I learned how to react to situations, whether big or small. And that's not the way you do it. Number 4 is bring softness back into the conversation. Bring your femininity, my good sis, to the table. Bring it. Bring it. Bring it. Okay? Soften your tone. Soften your body language. Soften your words. Soften it. And soft doesn't mean you're weak. Soft means that I'm good. I'm in my safe space right now. When you're in a safe place, you're off the carousel. Number 5, I would say, is you want to bring back the stuff that was lost. And what I mean by that is if you're mad because you told him your back hurts and you would think that he would maybe run you a bath, or you think that maybe he would rub your feet, and it didn't happen, you want to now bring it back into the equation. It's something that you might need to show him how to do. And it might be something that you have to show and not just verbalize like you're attacking him. So you might do like a gentle touch on the arm. You might do the small act of service. You might say something nice or kind to him. You might just ask him genuinely how his day is. It's almost like, I want you to do this to me. Since you may not know how, let me bring it back into our relationship. Let me bring it back into our safe. Number 6 is just remember that your spouse, he's not your enemy. It's you and him fighting against the devil, literally, who hates marriages, who hates unity. That's who y'all fighting against, not each other. Mark 3:25, a house divided against itself cannot stand. You and your spouse, again, are not two people fighting each other. You are two people fighting to get off the carousel. And I know this is a long video. I have so much to say, but I don't want the video to be so long. Before we close, I just feel like I need to say this. I need y'all to remember that you can step off this carousel. The enemy might have you so oppressed that you feel like you can't step off of it. He might have where your husband cheated, and that is deemed for divorce. But you can step off. You can interrupt this pattern. You can restore softness through yourself. And I know it's hard when you're broken. I know it's hard. One of the toughest parts of my relationship was how my husband treated me when I was pregnant. And as women, we remember everything during our pregnancy because our emotions are high. We're carrying another human. My husband wasn't his best self when I was pregnant. It was hard for me to try to restore the relationship when I was the one that needed the restoration. But I couldn't expect my husband to restore me. I had to expect that from God. The person that you married is still there. They didn't go anywhere. They're just waiting on the other side of the carousel. I want to say this. I want to tell this to my ladies, okay? Something very important. It is absolutely okay for you to be the first person to step off the carousel. I said it. Don't be mad at me. But it is okay for you to be the first person. Do not wait on him. Do not expect him to magically, because he's the man, to stop the ride. Do not interpret him staying on the carousel as him being stubborn either. Listen, when you know better, you do better. He may not know better. He may never have heard about this message about the carousel, but you have. You've heard about this message today, right now, and you have the capacity. And also now you have the responsibility to get off this carousel first. Unless y'all are watching it together, then that might be a little tough. Y'all might have to rock, paper, scissors, shoot that one out. I don't know. And just because you got off first, ladies, because I know some ladies are like this, it doesn't mean that you're the better person. It doesn't mean that you are the better partner. It doesn't mean you are the bigger person. It doesn't mean that he's less than. It simply means that you've gained awareness and you are now going to be acting accordingly. You are now capable to execute this. Someone has to interrupt the cycle. Someone has to step on the ground. Someone has to accept that this tick for tack, this spinning, seeing the same annoyances, the same scenery, hearing your same yells, who is going to decide that this is unacceptable before y'all tear each other apart where you're now divorced? Who's going to say it? And if that someone is you, it is not a burden. It is a blessing. It is a gift that you are giving to your marriage. It is a blessing. God bless you for doing the good work. Ladies, I know I am only 30 years old and you're probably like, this girl's giving what, who, when, and where marriage advice? Girl, you've been married for 20 seconds. Yeah. When you are connected with God, God can provide you wisdom that you can't get from an 80-year-old woman. So I believe that this is a God-sent message for women who are going through this. And honestly, y'all, I wish I had women in my life who would sit me down and talk to me like this. So, hey, no need to thank me. Thank the good Lord above. Remember, hop off that carousel, good sis. Hop off the carousel. I will see y'all in the next video, God willing, and y'all have a great week. Happy Thanksgiving. Bye, y'all.